Alright guys, for this video, we're going to get the graphs that you got in class with using the spaghetti and the Twizzler activity, and we're going to put the math and the trig behind it. I'm going to kind of go over this quickly, and then we'll kind of fill in the gaps tomorrow in class. But the main thing I want to go over, when we graph any trig function, we're only going to look at 5 key points. And if you look, these 5 values for x, the 0, pi over 2, pi, 3 pi over 2, and 2 pi, they all correspond to all the intercepts in the unit circle. Because at the intercepts, your x and y values are either 0, 1, and -1. So I don't have to get all the ugly decimals that are like the root 2 over 2 and the root 3 over 2. Alright, let's just plug these intercepts, these values in. So if I plug in this 0, what I'm evaluating is the sine of 0. Well, at 0 degrees or 0 radians, the ordered pair is, 1, 0? And if you take the sine of it, you take the y value. So the answer there is 0. So you're going to have the origin there, 0, 0. If we put in, let's see here, pi over 2, well, pi over 2, the ordered pair is, I'll just write it down, is what, 0, 1? And the y value there is 1. So I'm going to put 1. When I take the sine of pi, at pi, the ordered pair is -1, 0. So the y value there is 0. You'll start to see a pattern develop here. When we do 3 pi over 2, the ordered pair for 3 pi over 2 is 0, -1. So if I take the y value, it's this, -1. And then 2 pi, it's going to be the same as 0. It's going to be this, right? 0 is the same as 2 pi, so the ordered pair is 1, 0. So the sine of 2 pi is 0. You can kind of see how the 0 goes every other point. Okay, so if I graph this, I'm going to start, this is my first point, at the origin, 0, 0. And then I'm going to have the next point, pi over 2 is 1, which is right up here. Then I have pi is 0, which is right here. Then I have 3 pi over 2, -1, which is right down here. And then I have 2 pi is 0, which is right here. So I'm connecting it. I'm going to make my sine wave. Alright, so there is my sine wave right there. And you have 5 key points. The main thing with this is that when I graph a sine wave, see how I have all these middle points. These are called, I call them equilibrium because that's what that's a terminology used in physics. I always start a sine curve at the middle point, at an equilibrium. This is a maximum, this is the highest the wave goes. This is the minimum, that's the lowest it goes. So the last thing I'll put for this is that a sine curve, when you graph it, and after you get the 5 points, it always starts at the equilibrium. So I'll put always starts at equilibrium. And I'll just abbreviate it. So it always starts at the middle portion of the sine wave there. All the other stuff like this, the period, the increments, I talked a little bit about max, equilibrium, and min, range, domain. I'm going to go over this tomorrow. All right, so that's the main thing. You're going to plug in the intercepts. You're going to get out your y values, and the sine always starts at the equilibrium.